Hello, Munira madam. Hello.
Yes.
Madam, I've made you co-host. You can now add
Okay.
students.
Fine.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
Now, today I'm planning to, start and finish with you your third block. Okay, that deals with Bankim Chandra Chatterjee's Rajmohan's wife. All right. So, um, now before going into detailed discussion about Rajmohan's wife, I'll give you a introduction of Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. Though in our last classes we have done a bit of that, but still I'll introduce Bankim Chandra Chatterjee from the point of view of his novel. Okay, so uh, the time when Bankim Chandra wrote this, it was that period was called Bengal Renaissance. Okay, just like we had French Renaissance, Italian Renaissance, followed by British Renaissance. In India, this phase was called Bengal Renaissance. Why Bengal Renaissance? We had discussed earlier that there were too many Bengali writers flourishing, writing. Okay, not only in English, but they slowly switched over to Bengali, to their language. So, in all over India, it was Bengal which was a hotspot of literary development. Okay, so that is why this phase was called Bengal Renaissance. And during this phase, rich literature from Bengal emerged, and also it is Bengal Renaissance because it is Bengal only from where the first Indian English novel, Rajmohan's Wife, emerged. Okay, and one of the most eminent figures of Bengal Renaissance is Bankim Chandra. Okay, and that is why Bankim Chandra becomes one of the most historical figures of the time. Okay, and if we are reading Indian English literature, we must not forget to read properly and widely about Bankim Chandra because he was the pioneer of Indian writing in English. Okay, so his novel was called the realist novel narrative. Okay, and his novel Rajmohan's Wife mainly concerns about middle class life, because you saw at that time that it was middle class at that time which was very active with writing also, and with slowly it accepted the revolution also. Okay, so this novel also concerns a middle class life, and mainly it revolves around women. Okay, and the moral conflicts related to the daily social life. Okay, and what to do, what not to do, what is good, what is bad. people were very much trapped at that time with all these moral values, because they were time and again said and declared by the British that they are barbarians, uncivilized. So this was a question which every Indian asked to himself. Okay, and that was concerning morality. A lot of moral conflict was going on within each Indian. So you will see the novel when we'll go through that in detail. You know, maybe it was written at that time and it was a first novel, but if you see from the critical point of view, you will find it was a most evolved novel. Okay, a very modernist kind of novel. Okay. And it was, I think all of you know, it is one of the best novels by or the best literary work by Bankim Chandra. Okay. So we will see and we will prove how it is one of the best works of Bankim Chandra, or maybe one of the best works of that period itself. Okay. And how Bankim Chandra's character, Bankim Chandra's background, Bankim Chandra's acceptance of freedom movement, his reaction to the British invasion, everything that molded and shaped shaped his intellectuality, you will find it directly being reflected in the novel. Okay, so first we will go through little bit of the of his literary works. Okay, so um, so this was the in the 19th century. You saw that Bengali literature reached its pioneering heights. Okay, mm, and every fiction, not only Bankim Chandra's, but every fiction that was produced at that time, please remember this, that it was a result of the encounter between English and Bengali people. Okay, every fiction which was produced during that time had a great influence of the encounter between British and Bengali people. Okay, and if you understand this properly, it will help you to understand the literary context of Bankim Chandra. Okay, what happened when English and Bengali people came face to face? Okay, so everything is revolving under this major issue. Okay, how the evolution within Bengali intellectuality started. Okay, what was the result, what was the impact when when they gained things from the British counterpart. Everything you will find present in all these writers, and today we'll do specifically Bankim Chandra. Okay, so Bankim Chandra actually used to write in a magazine. Okay, for some money. Okay, to gain some money, he used to write in some cheap magazines. Okay, and usually these cheap magazines, they carried some feminine interest. Okay, this was specially magazine was made for females. Like today we have magazines, like if you are reading. Uh, Tell me, there's some issue. Somebody message something. Link is not opening. Any problem, students, with this link or something?
No, ma'am, that that is a different one. I think Chubby have shared some WhatsApp link and that one is not opening or working. That's why they are saying not related to the class.
Okay. And if it is not related to class, students, please don't do. It is disturbing you as well as it is disturbing me. All right, and it takes toll on me to teach you for such a long time. And if you don't hear it, so it will be useless. So kindly stop all these messages and just listen to what I'm saying. I think I'm quite clear with you all. So please pay attention on the class. Okay. Now, where I was. Yes. So for like I was telling you, nowadays we are reading. We also have those magazine. If ladies, you are reading those Women's Era, and we have Femina. So these are all women's magazine. So Bankim Chandra initially used to write stuff for those cheap women magazines. Okay, but writing for those women magazine actually shaped his literary thought. Okay, so this was an important contribution But by contributing in that magazine, it was a great contribution for Bankim Chandra to shape up his own literary intellect. Okay, so he experimented with language, he experimented with style. Okay, and he saw the response also, how people responded to his writing. So this actually was the initial aspect that shaped up his literary career. Okay, and if you remember, the Bankim Chandra usually wrote from 1838 to 1894. Okay, 1838 to 1894 was the time when he wrote, and he got educated from Hooghly College in Calcutta, Hooghly College. Okay, and he belonged to a very orthodox family. And if you read the original text of Rajmohan's wife, you will find that his writing style is very prosaic, and you know, his Rajmohan's wife, it was actually serialized in Indian Field in 1864. It was in a form of serial. Okay. In these magazines, actually, they were serialized. One after another, they used to come. All right. But later, the whole novel was combined by him, and that was published. Excuse me. Then about his other writing, he had written a book called Anandmat. Okay, and then this particular writing, Anandmat, it was, Anandmat was usually translated as the mission house of the Anandas. Okay, it was, I think, initially in Bengali, and it was translated the mission house of the Anandas. Now, this particular novel, it is very political. Okay, but the plot is little thin, little less. Okay, uh, now this Anandmat is loosely based on a sannyasi rebellion. Okay, that sannyasi rebellion had taken place in North Bengal in 1773. Okay, so Anand Mat was on that sannyasi movement that had taken place then. And Anand Mat, actually, it is very best known for the song that appears in it, Vande Mataram. Okay, so we know that Bankim Chandra had written Vande Mataram. And later, when there was a revolt, when revolt started, this Vande Mataram song became very popular, and you know that till today we sing this. If you just browse in your Google Vande Mataram of Bankim Chandra, you can hear it. I think all of us know that song. Okay. This is the important thing that you must remember, that Anand Mat contains the song Vande Mataram. Okay. Now, Bankim Chandra was born in a place in Bengal called Kanthalpura, not Kantapura, but Kanthalpura, Kanthalpura, and he was born in 1838. Okay, and usually he has lived in provincial Bengal. Um, and he belonged to middle class, and initially he started his education at home under one private tutor who came to teach him, and then later he went to Hooghly College. In Hooghly College he studied for 7 years. So during this Hooghly College period, he read vastly on British literature. So he read essays of Oliver Goldsmith. He read Addison. He read the poems of Pope. He read the dramas of Shakespeare. Okay, so this was a time during his college days that he started reading vastly on British literature. Okay, but that doesn't mean that he did not have any interest in Indian literature. Simultaneously, he had developed a love for Sanskrit. Okay, and during those phase of Hooghly College, he took his studies very seriously. So, um, to a large extent, you can see that he was little different from Michael Madhusudan Dutt, and Michael Madhusudan Dutt was born in 1824, died in 73, somewhat you can say contemporary of his time, and Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was born in 1820 and he died in 1891. Okay. Uh, so, Michael Madhusudan and Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, they were a little different from him. Okay. Because, Bankim Chandra did not have the facility of, he had the facility of learning all the three languages: English, Bengali, and Sanskrit. Okay. So, he was more in a benefit by studying in Hooghly College, because he got a good access of these three languages. Okay. And you must know that Bankim belonged to a very traditional family. Hmm. And in his family, they practice child marriage, and he Bankim Chandra was married at the age of 11. Okay. And when he was 15, his wife died, so he became a widower at the age of 15. Okay. So this was his, again, personal experience that led to his creativity, because in his novel called The Poison Tree, he admits that if it is a man, then he can marry for the next time, but it is not possible for women. Okay. So he says that in Poison Tree, in his novel, that he was a man. Okay. And he could marry again. Okay. And in that novel, he says that when a widower, that protagonist of the novel, when he marries, he opts for an older lady, older than his age. Okay. But you can see that Bankim Chandra was also one of those revolutionaries who was not in favor of child marriages. Hmm. But he needed a more compatible partner, and that kind of partnership you could have when only you become mature. Not that kind of partnership you will develop when you get child marriage. Okay, usually. But if you grow up an adult, and when you can understand what is good and bad, then you can have a better companionship of your spouse. So this is what he believed more, and he also disdained child marriages. Okay. Now he started writing poetry also. He experimented in poetry, and at that time when he wrote poetry, it was 1853, and he wrote poetry in a journal called Sambad Prabhakar in 1853. That was published. All right. And the editor of that Sambad Prabhakar was Ishwar Gupta. Okay, and Ishwar Gupta was also at that time a very prominent literary figure. So Bankim Chandra got a lot of influence from Ishwar Gupta as well. Okay. Lot of first-hand ideas he got from Ishwar Gupta regarding British literature. He got a little bit idea about sexual humor. Okay. And he got an idea about what kind of lifestyle it was during British Victorian era. Okay. And this was mainly gained through Ishwar Gupta. Now you can see that if you delve into the life of Ishwar Chandra, you will find that he was not only a reformist who was very influential at that time, but also he was the one who talked about widow remarriage, because he was a sufferer himself. No, so he was the one who talked about widow remarriage, and also he was the one who talked about the abolition of polygamy. Okay. Now, Bankim Chandra wrote two very powerful essays. Okay. First essay is Bangladesher Krishak. Okay, means the farmer of Bangladesh. Bangladesher Krishak and Samya. So these are the two very powerful essays he had written. And if you see Bangladesher Krishak, then it is actually a critique, okay, about progress. When you talk about progress, when you talk about development, so he had present a critique on progress and development, okay. And in this Bangladeshi Krishak, he says that this modernization, development of technology is only very partial, okay, to achieve progress. So you cannot get complete progress with the help of modernization or technological development, according to Bankim Chandra in his essay Bangladeshi Krishak. Okay, because he says that modernization cannot come, full modernization cannot come from technology or or industrial development, because it is actually the farmer who bear the real wealth, and that is the crop. So the real modernization, if you want, that will come through the farmers from the provincial lives. Okay, so this was his basic idea about development, about modernization. Okay, so you can see that unlike Raja Ram Mohan Roy was very influenced by that British idea of systematic study, systematic lifestyle, complete rejection of old and orthodox traditions. Okay, so Bankim Chandra, you see that though he's rejecting and he's accepting widow remarriage and modern things, but he stays rooted to the basic occupation of Indian people of the time, that was farming. He said that if you pay proper homage, pay proper respect to the farmers, that will be the real modernization. Okay, so this was there in Bangladeshir Krishak. And about Samya, the next one, he paints a broader canvas. It covers the Indian society as a whole in his essay Samya. Okay, here in Samya he talks about the how inequality persists in the whole country, and also in Samya he talks about the caste division that happens very badly in India. Okay, and how caste division is the basic aspect that brings inequality to our society. Okay, and also in Samya, he talks about other kinds of inequalities and oppressions, like oppression of women, and he talks about how how partial, how how unequal thoughts uh, men carry as far as patriarchal fabric is concerned, how men show their patriarchy to women. That also is shown by Bankim Chandra in his essay Samya. Okay, now this was initially, these were the basic themes of Bankim Chandra. Later, what he did, as I told you, he developed his Bengali. He started writing in Bengali. So in that sense, even though he wrote in English, but he remained very traditional in his views. Okay, and at the same time, you will see to a large extent, he was very progressive about Western education. Both, he was traditional also in his thought, because when he talks about remaining uh, very steadfast towards farmers, at the same time he embraces Western education, because you can see that he's very well versed in English. Yes, any problem? Anyway, so this was what you saw in his essay. Um, now, he, he saw when he developed and when he matured as a writer, as an intellect, he saw that actually Hindu people, they lack the desire for freedom. If somebody has entered your house, can you leave it like that? Can you allow them to torture you, to oppress you? No, you can't. You have to kick out that foreign person out of your house. But Hindus were very tolerant. Okay, and actually they were not that rigorous to throw away the British and their and their unequal treatment. So according to Bankim Chandra, Hindus lacked the desire for freedom. Okay, and they were not able to stand together. As I told you, that these were the initial reformers who understood that India was facing a very bad sort of inequality. So Bankim Chandra also, like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he wanted some reformation first of all in Indian society. Okay, because he saw a lot of imbalance in Indian society. Okay, so uh, he started, to develop a climate of a sort of resistance against British. So this, the basic platform was prepared by people like Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Bankim Chandra. Okay, so here, according to Bankim Chandra, he saw that nationalism is a contribution of Western concept. Okay, nationalism is Western. Okay, and this was understood by Bankim Chandra. How nationalism is Western, this thought, this ideology of nationalism is Western. And he is very right to think like that. The whole concept of nationalism. Nationalism means I have to do anything for my country. So this thought was not developed till that time in India. Indians do not know what is this nationalism. Okay, this concept is Western. How and where did it happen? See, it happened with the Renaissance period, or you can say the later Renaissance period, when Queen Elizabeth started ruling. Queen Elizabeth saw Queen Elizabeth saw that in the name of religion, okay, Queen Elizabeth in 16th century, she saw that whole England is fighting over religion only. Okay, there were two sects of people, Christians at that time in England. One was Catholic, another was Protestant. Okay, so they were continuously fighting, butchering each other. Now, Queen Elizabeth was very clever to grasp the sentiments of the people of the time. Okay, she thought that if these people will fight continuously, then how will country develop? If in the name of religion they are cutting, butchering, slaughtering each other, how will the country prosper? This was understood by her. So what she did, she propagated nationalism. She said your religion comes next. First is your country. You have to take care of the country. So she propagated this idea. She encouraged nationalism. Okay, and she was the one who formed this British East India Company in 1600, 1600. Okay, she initiated this, and she said that for your country, to glorify your country, you have to go out, explore other places, and bring in the rich wealth of other countries instead of fighting and killing one another. So this whole idea of nationalism, loving your country, fighting for your country, protecting your country, irrespective of your religion, irrespective of any class, okay, or any other system, you have to love your country. You have to do your deed for your country. This was propagated by Queen Elizabeth. So this idea started from the West of nationalism, of loving one's country. Bankim Chandra understood this because people like him were very vast readers of English literature and history of that time. So he said that this is Western, and he, through his philosophy, through his writing, he also propagated that nationalism, the air, the tempo of nationalism has to be created in India also. Okay, so here, if you read, I will explain to you Rajmohan's wife. You will see that the central character, the protagonist, he is the product of English education. Okay, and you will see that if you read Rajmohan's wife, you will see that the villains are from villages, they are provincial. Okay, but the hero is properly English educated. Okay, so you can say that okay, Bankim Chandra is trying to, to raise the character of British people, and he's trying to make Indian small. Not that, but actually he's saying that who is well versed, well educated, will understand things better than if you are uneducated and properly educated following British norms, no doubt. Okay, but if you get proper education, then your vision, then your thoughts, they vary from the uneducated ones. They become more polished and thoughtful. This is what he has shown in Rajmohan's wife. Okay, and in Rajmohan's wife, he has also written against the nature of Brahmin domination in India. So you know that at that time, Brahmins. Okay, I got disconnected. Yes. So here, what I was saying. Mm,
Ma'am,
that yes,
ma'am, we are continuing the unit 2.
three, no, the third one.
Sorry, ma'am, I was a little bit absent. I just joined, so I ask you.
No, this is third one. This is about Bankim Chandra and his first novel, Rajmohan's Wife. Okay, so
Thank you, ma'am.
before going into Rajmohan's Wife, I'm giving you an elaborate background information of Bankim Chandra, so that when we go through the novel, or I mean the analysis of the novel, it will be easy for you to understand. Okay. Yes. So where was I? Mm, yes. So in his novel, in Rajmohan's Wife, you will also see he's talking against the Brahmanic dominations. So at that time, Brahmin people dominated a lot, and they looked down upon other castes. Okay. So he was the one who raised consciousness that fundamentally we are all equal. So we have equal rights. Nobody is born unequal under the eyes of God. So we should be created or treated equally, and this Brahmin domination should get erased. So he was one of the initiators who spoke about this uneven social stratification that was going on in India. Okay, and till then Indian population was very orthodox. They did not know all this. They were not conscious. They were not aware what was going on. Okay, they were living still in a very, very, very traditional life. So educators and people like them, like Bankim Chandra, they created this awareness through their writings. Okay, so when he matured as a writer, he spoke directly to the people, to the mass of India, and he raised awareness to the people about this uneven and unequal system. And just like like what Queen Elizabeth did in England, reformers such as these, they created awareness. They created the idea of nationalism among Indians. Okay. Now, in some sense, you can see that Bankim Chandra was very different from other philosophers, because Brahma Samaj, Arya Samaj, they were also taking good shape at that time, but he did not have any likeness with either Brahma Samaj, and he completely ignored Arya Samaj. He did not have much much interest on that, and but he had synthesized Gita. Okay, he properly synthesized. He properly made a good evaluation of Gita. Uh, in collaboration with European thinkers like Auguste Comte. Okay, so he collaborated with European, and he gave a good synthesis, good explanation, which was meant for everyone, every human individual. uh, he wrote Gita, okay, for everyone. Now you can see properly now how was the social background of the time, okay, how women were looked at, how Indians came face to face with the British. What was the initial reaction of the British, of the Indians towards British? You saw that overall. Okay, so Bankim Chandra, though he was a mixture of modernism and traditional thoughts, okay, that is why this phase is called a transitional phase. Transitional means when India was changing, one was in a transitional mode, when India was moving from traditional orthodox thoughts to modern thoughts. So this was the time when Bankim Chandra lived and he wrote. Okay. Um, so you can say we cannot completely criticize British. We can accept some of their impact on us also, because they were the ones who showed us what does modernity mean in 19th century India. Okay, they made us face to face with a different kind of lifestyle which was very alien to us. Okay, which was very different to us. So slowly we understood their society, their lifestyle, and slowly what was good, we accepted that in the name of modernity. And the initiators who showed us that path towards modernity were people like this, Bankim Chandra, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, and others. Okay. Now, Rajmohan's wife is, as I told you, is written in English, and in many ways, this book looks forward to a trend of English education. Okay, it encourages English education. It means what? Rajmohan's wife novel. It encourages English education, because here you see the protagonist of the novel is English educated. He has got modern values, okay, and he opposes all traditional values. So the novel written by a Bengali person, um, and later when when Bankim Chandra completely settles down with Bengali novels in later years, um, in those days, in his later years, he completely disdains, he completely rejects English because of the protest that was starting at that time. Okay, but now he is very much, at this phase of his life, he is very much favorable to the English lifestyle. Okay, later you will see, no, to some extent, at this phase also, you will see in the novel that the hero is English educated, okay, and he has graduated from Calcutta University. The hero is wearing European clothes, and he is eating those food which is forbidden by Hindus, okay, and he does all these things to uh, show that English values are very progressive, and what we were living was a very traditional lifestyle. This is what he is trying to say. So Rajmohan's wife at that time did not get a very rave review, or people liked it. It got lukewarm kind of acceptance from people. Okay, many people were critical about it, many people accepted it. So it was the country was divided into two as far as the acceptance of the novel was concerned. Many accepted, many discarded. Okay, now we'll see some other works of Bankim Chandra, and then I'll go over to explain the novel in detail. Okay, so Bankim Chandra, when he switched to Bengali, from English to Bengali, then he began to write historical romances. Okay, he started to write historical romances in Bengali. Okay, so in historical romances that he wrote in Bengali, he tried to show some of his passions towards beauty. Okay, he talked about his restless mind. Okay, and this you see that in those novels in Bengali, he actually tried to show that he also had got some idea of romanticism. Okay, but he did not behave like exactly European romantics, but he had his own romantic, typical Indian ideologies. Okay, but throughout these novels, throughout his writing, you will see he had a very hard and fast desire for certain societal changes he wanted. Very strictly, he talked about some changes in Indian society, in Indian moral values that needed to be inculcated at that time. So he wrote and wrote and wrote about development, about Indian to become aware, of the Indian to become smarter. Okay, so here you will see that most of Bankim Chandra's historical novels, they are set in medieval period, not presently in old gone by period, in medieval period. And his major works are Mrinalini. See, all Indian names. Mrinalini. Then he has written Durgesh Nandini. Kapal Kundala he has written. Kapal Kundala, then Chandrasekhar, Devi Chaudrani, and then he wrote Anand Mat. This is what I had told you, Anand Mat also. So this was the line of Bengali novels that he had written. Okay, and these are his major works. Mrinalini, Durgesh Nandini, Kapal Kundala, Chandrasekhar, Devi Chaudrani, and Anand Mat. So you can see that most of these are the names are woman oriented, isn't it? So, through these novels, he's trying to establish patriotism. He's teaching people the idea of nationalism. He's teaching people what does it mean to have self-sacrifice. Okay, and he talks about medieval palaces, exotic castles. Okay, but at the same time, he encourages self-sacrifice and proper morality in lifestyle. Okay, and when he writes about the contemporary period, he talks about small villages. Okay, instead of writing about development that India was thinking at that time, he wrote about small villages. Okay, he took small characters from those villages, and like domestic servants, he talked about landlords, he talked about lawyers, he talked about musicians. So, overall, his representation was very middle class. Okay, after 1880 you will see him maturing more. Okay, you see a distinct change in his writing style, that you, if you read Anand Mat, you will see that he has changed drastically, he has matured drastically, his political ambitions have raised high. Okay, and earlier he was very much romantically fascinated, but now he comes to the political arena, that you will find in Anand Mat. Okay, and if you read Anand Mat, you will see that he's talking about developing a sense of national pride. Okay, he is trying to popularize the idea of patriotism, which was initially lacking. Okay, so he says that patriotism, love for your nation, is beyond any religion or any other system. So, if you want your country to flourish, you should love it more than any other thing that you have. Okay, so now you see that we have tried to locate Bankim Chandra in this proper 19th century. Okay, and you see, you already saw that he had a great contribution in the development of Bengali literature. You saw that how his early novels were the residue uh, of of his social observations, that concerned women, that concerned English education. But when you see his later life, you see him more matured. He talks about politics, he talks about development of nationalism, fellow feeling, trying to establish equality in India. So you can see that broadly you can divide his writing into two parts. One, a very mature writer, and the first phase, that is more or less a romantic. Okay, now we will go over to Rajmohan's wife. We'll see the themes. I'll call you a few things. If you want to write down, then you can write it down as well. Now, first I'll start a brief introduction of Rajmohan's wife. Okay. Now you see here, mainly if you read the whole novel, you find that mainly this is a representation of a middle class family. Okay. Now, students, are you understanding? Am I being clear with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, good. Because I'm continuously talking and talking and talking. I don't know if you are even there or not. Anyway, so
Ma'am, we are
uh,
Ma'am, we
there.
can,
okay,
ma'am, we can understand.
okay.
Uh,
Okay, ma'am.
but we want to see the handwriting of you.
What? I don't understand. My handwriting.
I mean, and the notes are. We want to see
You want to
if
see?
you could.
No, no, I'm not calling notes. I'm now explaining it to you.
Uh,
When I will say
ma'am,
something, you will. Yes.
I'm writing, but some words I take mistakes with that.
No,
So
no, no, no. This is not note calling. I'm teaching. I'm explaining. And if you search in your material, you will find the idea. Though exactly words you won't find, because I have read through your material and I'm explaining that. So if you read in your material, you will find there's no need to write notes. Whenever it will be needed,
uh,
I'll tell you.
okay.
All right. Mm.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes,
Mm.
yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Let
ma'am.
me
Thank you.
continue. Mhm. Okay. So where I was, yes, we were now entering into.
Ma'am, Raj Mohan's wife.
Yes, we were going into Rajmohan's wife. Now, what I was saying is that mainly you find when you read the novel, you will find that it is the representation of middle class family, and the protagonist initially that you see who is introduced, uh, he is very well read in English language. Okay, now. This particular English language and fascination for English language you won't see in any other writing of any other novel of Bankim Chandra. Okay, because at that time he was really fascinated by that language and that was considered as master language. Okay, but later he understood it was not a master language, it was our simplicity, or if you may call our foolishness, that we were becoming slavish. Okay, no language can become master language, no language can become inferior language. Actually our attitude had become slavish, we had become slaves. Okay, mentally, emotionally we had become slaves. So that was understood by Bankim later, and that is why he did not call master language to English anymore. So he very boldly he went to Bengali writing. Okay, and very nicely he showed that he not only he has mastered over foreign language, foreigners' language, but also he is very prolific in his own native language. He tried to show this. Okay, and also he was very well versed with Sanskrit literature. Okay, but anyway, during this phase you will find him find his fascination in English language. Okay, so these are the basic, the core issues in the novel that you will find. But if you go to the context and if you analyze things textually, you will see, Matangini, the lady. Okay, she is one of the most dominant figures in the novel. Matangini, Matangini. Okay.
And
And
Hema Tangni, her sister.
uh, okay. So she is Matangini and she is Rajmohan's wife in the novel. Okay. And then another, no, the broad idea was love of English and all those things. Now, if you go to the textuality, little bit deeper, you will see that marriage is also one of the biggest themes, biggest contexts in the novel. Okay. Now you see that
ma'am, will
Matangini.
you please, ma'am,
Yes,
will you please explain who is Matangini?
yes, I'll go to that. I'll talk about the
Uh,
character of Matangini. Matangini is the wife of Rajmohan. and she is actually Rajmohan's wife. Okay.
Actually,
Uh,
Rajmohan's wife.
yes, Matangini is Rajmohan's wife.
Okay.
Rajmohan is a character in a novel, and Matangini is his wife. Okay, so you will see that in the novel that Matangini is transgressing her position of a wife. Okay, and when she is transgressing her position as a wife, then you will see that Bankim Chandra is justifying that. Bankim Chandra is saying that Rajmohan was a very cruel husband. Okay, so that's why Matangini tries to go little bit astray and out of her marriage. So anyway, we are going to be very clear, very broad with this. Okay. Now let's see the whole idea of the novel. I'll now explain, try to understand, and maybe I may ask you to write certain things. I'll tell you what to write, but now you don't write. Now you just try to listen. Okay, so I will repeat this one more time because we are introducing the novel. That Rajmohan's Wife is a novel written in English. Okay, by Bankim Chandra, and Bankim Chandra was a very established writer in 1800s. So this novel was published in 1864. Okay, and this is a historical novel because it is the first Indian novel in English, written in English. Okay, so Rajmohan's Wife is set in Bengal. Okay, in 18th century, and the protagonist, the female protagonist, you can say, is Matangini. Okay, and Matangini is Zamindar Rajmohan's wife. You understand Zamindar? Zamindar means landowner. So she is landowner Rajmohan's wife. Okay. Now, if you see the plot, you will see that Rajmohan is leaving for a pilgrimage. Okay. When the story starts, when the novel starts, you will see that Rajmohan is leaving for a pilgrimage. He's going for pilgrimage during the starting of the novel. Okay. And he has a family, a joint family, and his family is taking care of Matangini. Okay. But Matangini, when her husband leaves, she faces a lot of hardships. Okay. When Rajmohan is away, and even her brother-in-law, his name is Harakumar. Harakumar is making menacing advances. Okay, he's trying to abuse her, sexually abuse her. All right, understood. So when Rajmohan is away, she's facing a lot of hardships, including her brother-in-law Harakumar is trying to abuse her. He's trying, but she doesn't give up. But he's trying to abuse her. Okay. And here you will see that Matangini is very strong morally. She's very upright morally. Okay. And when Harakumar advances towards her, she turns him down. And she's trying to demonstrate that she is very steadfast. She is very devotional towards her husband. Okay. Now, here during this time when the story is set, you will find that the Marathas are invading. The Maratha rulers, they are invading Bengal, and during this time when her husband is away, the Marathas invade the area as the story is progressing, and these Marathas are causing a lot of turmoil and strife in the whole area. Okay, now Matangini at this time, her character is put to test. Okay, it's very easy to test the character of a woman, very easy to say and easy to judge a woman. So similarly, Matangini's character is put to test uh, when she deals with the difficulties by this social unrest and political turmoil during Maratha invasion in Bengal. Okay. Now, gradually, what happens? The novel takes a very dramatic turn because another character comes called Devi Chodrani. Okay, Devi Chodrani is a very charismatic and she's a very fearless leader of the local rebels. Local rebels were there. She was the leader of those rebels. So Devi Chaudhary and Matangini, they form one alliance. Okay. To oppress Marathas, to fight against Marathas, Matangini and Devi Chaudhary, they join hands. And you can see here that Matangini is very courageous. Okay. And her determinations are very bright, and she actively participates in the resistance against Maratha invasion. And she displays her strength at the face of adversity. Even when you see husband is not there, but she is very bold, and from her locality, she is trying to throw away the Marathas. Okay. So towards the end of the novel, you will find Rajmohan is returning, and the characters, they are, intertwining each other, and you can see the novel is concluded with a good resolution. Okay. That talks about socio-political conditions of the time. It emphasizes the resilience. It talks about the courage of the female characters. Okay, so you can see that the female characters are the ruling ones in the novel. So there are 4 to 5 basic themes of the novel. You can write it down. Rajmohan wife themes. This is what I wanted you to write down. Few themes are there. There is no single theme, but you will find 4 5 themes. Write down. First one is women's empowerment. First theme is women's empowerment. Okay, women empowerment. Under this, if you wish, you can write down Rajmohan's wife. Under women empowerment, write down Rajmohan's wife. If you are not able to understand, please ask me. Rajmohan's wife is notable for its Rajmohan's wife is notable for its portrayal of is notable for its portrayal 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 of strong and empowered female characters. Portrayal of strong and empowered female characters. Strong and empowered female characters. Full stop. Matangini, comma, in particular. Matangini in particular, comma, stands as a symbol of stands as a symbol of resilience and courage. As a symbol of resilience, 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 resilience and courage, comma, resisting societal norms. Resisting means fighting. Resisting, RESISTING, societal, SOCIETAL, resisting societal norms, NORMS, and oppressive forces, OPPRESSIVE, oppressive forces, full stop. The novel challenges traditional gender roles, traditional gender roles, and highlights the agency of women, and highlights the agency of women, the agency, AGENCY, agency of women, In the face of adversity. The agency of women in the face of adversity.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, in the face of
Ma'am, is it
adversity. Yes,
ma'am, is it possible to share the PDF or something, if it is possible, or the
it
link?
is possible, but I want you to write down because I want you also to do certain exercises. Okay, if you write down, your understanding will go better. And these are very short ones. It will take few minutes only.
Sure, ma'am.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you.
Mm. You need some exercise also. You're sitting for 2 hours just doing nothing. So do some exercise now. Okay, so this was the woman empowerment. How during those days, Bankim Chandra talked about such powerful women who are forming
Ma'am,
alliance to fight against invasions.
ma'am,
Yes,
we write the face of adversity then.
full stop.
Okay.
Okay, so this is also trying to show how women are powerful. Okay, second theme is resistance and rebellion. Resistance and rebellion.
Ma'am, is
Res-
this the second theme?
yeah, theme number 2, resistance and rebellion. The theme of resistance against oppression. The theme of resistance against oppression is central to the novel. Is central to the novel.
Ma'am, please 1 second.
Yes. The theme of resistance against oppression is central to the novel. Okay, this is a central theme which comes out irrespective of any gender or any religious biases. Theme of resistance against oppression is central to the novel. Full stop. Matangini along with Devi Chaudrani. Matangini along with Devi Chaudrani becomes a part of the rebellion. Devi Chaudrani, Choudhurani, Devi Chaudrani becomes a part of the rebellion. Becomes a part of the rebellion against the Maratha invaders. Against the Maratha invaders. Full stop.
Ma'am,
The
please
narrative.
again.
Matangili, along with Devi Chaudrani, becomes a part of the rebellion. Becomes a part of the rebellion against the Maratha invaders. Against the Maratha invaders. Full stop. The narrative explores the idea. The narrative explores the idea of standing up against. Explores the idea of standing up against. Of standing up against injustice. Injustice and the injustice. Put a full stop. Standing up against injustice. No, injustice and the transformative power and the transformative TRANSFOR transformative power of collective resistance and the transformative power of Collective resistance. Transformative power of collective resistance. So it is showing that when collectively we stand, all together if we stand, then we can blow off any enemy or invader. That is what he's trying to say. Theme number 3, political and social unrest. Political and social unrest. Political and social unrest. Political and social unrest. Under this, write down, set against the backdrop of the backdrop of the Maratha invasions, comma, the novel delves into
Please repeat.
set against the backdrop, one word, BACKDROP, backdrop of the Maratha invasions, comma, the novel delves into the delves into the political and social upheavals, 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 political and social upheavals, UPHEAVALS, of 18th century Bengal. Next point, write down, colonialism and its impact. Next theme, colonialism and its impact. Colonialism and its impact. Write down, under colonialism and its impact, the narrative sheds light. The narrative sheds SHEDS light on the challenges faced by indigenous communities, faced by indigenous, 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 indigenous communities in the wake, WAKE, wake of foreign invasions. In the wake of foreign invasions.
Ma'am, invasions spelling.
In the wake, WAKE, wake of in foreign invasions, foreign FOREIGN invasions, INVASIONS. Next theme is cultural identity. Cultural identity. It explores the themes of it explores the theme of cultural identity. It explores the theme of cultural identity as characters grapple with the grapple grapple with the changing dynamics grapple grapple with the changing dynamics changing dynamics dynamics changing dynamics brought about brought about by brought about by external forces brought about by external forces. Okay, brought about by external forces. Now there are certain other themes also which are not that major. I'm just telling you the heads and I'm explaining that to you. I think that will work. Your next theme is personal integrity. Next theme number 6, personal integrity and values. Personal integrity and values. Personal integrity and values. Okay. So here I'm just explaining this to you. This is not that major theme, but the novel talks about personal integrity and values through Matangini's commitment to her husband. You can see that her husband is very abusive, very cruel, but she is committed to her husband. Okay, and this is what adheres her to her personal integrity. Okay, she is very much concerned about her personal integrity, about her values. Okay, and that is why this theme of personal integrity and value also becomes a part of the narrative. Okay, because Matangini is very steadfast towards her ethics, towards her moral principle. Okay, we know there are situations which are very challenging, but she shows her very strong moral principle. She doesn't waver at all. Okay, so next theme is social justice. Okay. So you can see that Matangini and Devi Chodrani also, they try to prevail social justice in the society by throwing out the invaders. Okay, here in this case there are Maratha invaders, and actually this is not they they're trying to resist Maratha invaders, but that is not a political act. That is their search towards justice. Okay, that is this woman's search or quest towards the restoration of societal order. They want to bring about societal order, that's all. The intention is not political. Okay, so that is what is social justice. Then next you have nature of leadership as one of the sub themes. Nature of leadership. Okay, nature of leadership. Here you will see that Devi Chaudrani is also one of the rebels. Okay, you will see her character, which provides insight in the nature of leadership. You understand what leadership is. Okay, uh, particularly at the time of crisis, how should a leader react to those crises? Is very well represented by Devi Chaudrani. Okay, you will see that she has got a very charismatic style. Okay, she has a very nice ability to make people come to the streets and make rally for the common cause of invasion during challenging times. Okay, so you find what is actually that nature of leadership which comes irrespective of gender. Okay. Then you will see family and relationships, the meaning of family and relationships in Indian context. Family and relationships, you will find the novel here, it explores relationships, it explores the complexity within the extended families. Okay, because you see that Matangini's brother-in-law, how he behaves with her. Okay, he tries to abuse her, and how the case of Harakumar becomes a subplot. Okay, and that forms a layer to the narrative. Harakumar and his intentions, they become a subplot. Okay, and Harakumar and his idea, it brings a layer to the narrative. Okay, and it talks about some intricate relationships within family dynamics. Okay, and the last theme is 10th theme is historical realism. I think you understood this. What is this historical realism? Historical realism is that through the example of Maratha invasions, actually, Bankim Chandra is trying to talk about the British invasion in 18th century Bengal. Okay, he tries to show the face of how British have invaded and how leadership and societal justice is needed in order to just throw them out of our territory. This is what Bankim Chandra is most prominently trying to say. Okay, so you can see that overall, this novel is a very rich tapestry of themes. Okay, so you can find so many themes.
Ma'am,
Yes,
ma'am, the last point, historical realism.
yes,
Could you please explain again?
yes. See, isn't it the reality of India at the time that we were being invaded? We were invaded, and that is historical. But Bankim Chandra shows this historical realism by not directly talking about British, but he talks about this historical realism when we were invaded by British, how we were oppressed by British. And then he's showing that how we need to push back these aliens, these foreigners out of our country through a standard revolt, through bringing some kind of social justices, through proper leadership initiatives. Okay, understood. So that is what is
Yes,
historical realism. Means this thing had happened. It was real, and how you need to fight it. The way also he is showing, but he's not directly talking about British. He's talking about Maratha invasion indirectly. Okay, got it.
yes, ma'am. May I write it?
Sorry.
Uh, may I write it with your words?
If it is possible, because now I'll be going ahead.
Uh, okay.
Okay, just write down this much what I was saying about social realism, no, historical realism. Okay, just write down quickly, very quickly.
Yes, yes, yes.
The narrative is known for its historical realism. The narrative is known for its historical realism, comma, offering readers a glimpse into a glimpse glimpse into the socio-political conditions, glimpse into the socio-political conditions of 18th century Bengal, of 18th century Bengal. Full stop. The novel in 18th century Bengal, what had happened? Invasion of British. Okay. The novel incorporates historical events. The novel incorporates historical events, comma, providing a backdrop, one word, backdrop, BACKDROP, backdrop that shapes the characters, then put an apostrophe, characters, lives and actions. Characters, lives and actions. Lives and actions. Full stop. The novel indirectly addresses the novel indirectly addresses the effects of colonialism, comma, as the Marathas, comma, a powerful force, during that period, a powerful force during that period, comma, comma, represent an external influence, represent an external influence, represent an external influence, disrupting, 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 represent an external influence, disrupting the local socio-political landscape, the local socio SOCIO hyphen political 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 landscape, socio-political landscape, full stop. Now you understood? Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now what I was saying, I was talking about Matangini as the protagonist. Okay. So you can see that Matangini gradually emerges as a symbol of strength. She becomes the symbol of resilience. Okay. Who is able to face all the societal challenges. Okay. And how does she contribute? How does she respond to the challenges? Very actively. Okay. She very actively participates in the rebellion against Marathas. See, woman of that time, she is not scared. Okay. But she fights it. And that too with a direct rebellion. Okay. So here you see the alliance between Matangini and Devi Chaudrani. Okay. Further, if you analyze these two characters, you will see how women's agency, acts as a central role in times of social and political upheaval. When there is social and political disturbance, so women also stand up. We don't always say that men only stand up and rebel. No, these are the women who are directly standing and contributing towards the social and political upheaval. Okay, so as you go on reading the novel, you will find that you will get immersed uh, immersed in the world of personal value. You will find familial relationships, how family people treat each other. Okay, you will find the pursuit of justice. Okay, and how you see that how common people they face larger challenges. Okay, such as colonialism, such as political unrest, such as invasion into your territories, which you don't always like. If somebody comes into your house and says that I will stay here, will you like? You will not like. You will like for 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, you will kick that person out. Okay, so we don't like invasions. All right. So it shows how invasion and how this kind of negative domination was taking toll on each and every human life of that time. Okay, so you will see that the novel is giving you a nuanced portrayal of cultural identity. Okay, how cultural identity was taking a new form. How was it going on? Because Bankim Chandra says that our people are very tolerant, they don't know how to rebel. Okay, but slowly, slowly, you see, our people are becoming rebel. So this was a transformation of a cultural identity. An old orthodox system was prevailing, but now you see, slowly, slowly, change is coming. Okay, and that too set in 18th century. Okay, then the plot is emphasizing about the challenges faced by common people, indigenous people, common people who live at the periphery of the nation. Okay, who may not form the centrality of the nation. Those who are living towards the periphery in villages, but see how they can stand to rebel injustices. That is important. That is what he's trying to show. Now, here you will see the novel is not only a contribution to the rich literary heritage of Bengal, but also it gives a broader discussion on historical fiction. It talks about social justice and how injustices are going on. Okay, he talks about the complexities of family life, of societal relationships. Okay, so you can see overall, Bankim Chandra has portrayed a multi-layered novel. Okay, and you can see multiple themes in this novel, as I've already told you. Okay, and that too in a period when India was passing through a very critical phase, a very critical time. Okay, and how still people he was still very optimistic about the people and about how people will resist against social injustices. Okay. Now, I think you got this, what I just explained. I think you have understood this.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'll give you a few more explanation. Someone of you was asking about Matangini. I'll talk about her a little more and then we will end the class. Now, Matangini, you can see, is a very special character, a very different character of the time, isn't it? Very powerful, very much in control of herself, of her life, of her integrity, everything, isn't it? So, this is how we view her. All right. And this is how Bankim Chandra has tried to portray the woman of her time. See what he says about her. I'm reading few lines from the novel. Um, just see how she is viewed as a woman of the time. See, it says she has got dainty limbs of the woman of 18th century. Sorry, of 18 maybe 18 years, were not burdened with such abundance of ornaments. Means her limbs were not burdened with lot of ornaments, lot of jewelry. Okay, nor did her speech betray any trace of the East Bengal accent. Means she had typical East Bengal accent. I think East Bengal is now Bangladesh, which dearly showed that this perfect flower of beauty was no daughter of the banks of the Madhumati, but was born and brought up on the Bhagirathi in some place near the capital. Her long locks were tied up in a careless knot on her shoulder, but some traces had thrown away that bondage and were straying over her forehead and cheeks. Just look at the mastery of the language, how this woman is described in a very romantic way, but this is the typical portrayal of an Indian woman. Okay, she doesn't look like a girl living near the banks of Madhumati River, but she certainly looks, she's a properly born woman who might be living near the Bhagirathi River. Okay, so it talks about the location of the woman. Okay, something very different, something very, very attractive. Okay, and in the novel, when you see that when her face is revealed, uh, her face, is revealed accidentally because there's a gust of wind and her and her what do you say, her wheel is blown away by wind. Okay, and when her wheel is blown away, then uh, she's punished by her husband. Her husband says that you are immodest, how you are behaving, you are showing your face, and he wants to punish her because her husband is very cruel. And when he's punishing her, you will see she is not retaliating. Okay, nowadays what will happen? If our husbands are cruel on us, they give us one slap, we give them five slaps. Okay, but she's not retaliating. Okay, and here you see that when she's not retaliating, she's facing the cruelty of her husband very, very inactively. Then this replicates a traditional form of good Hindu wives. Okay, who is very silent, modest, and long suffering. This is what she shows. So, how is her expression when she's punished by her husband? See how it is written. Only tears were streaming down her face. She was being punished by her husband. She did not do anything, but only tears were streaming down her face. At the sight of her silent suffering, the cruel man softened a little. So, when the husband saw that she's suffering without retaliation, he also gets softened by her. He no longer tried to beat her but continued his abuse. So, his hands also fell off when he saw that she is not reacting. Okay, so this is what is the perseverance and patience, okay, which stands for Indian woman. So this was the portrayal of Matangini as long suffering and oppressed and victimized also. Okay, so here you see that Bankim wants to create a character who is suffering, okay, and whose suffering is unjustified. So here you see that reader is trying to go at the side of Matangini. So you see, Rajmohan is a very villainous character. He's cruel, okay, and he stands for evil. So with this, you see how patriarchy prevailed in those societies of that time. Uh, Now what happens? Uh, Matangini had her lover too. Okay, so when gradually her lover comes to the scene, uh, it says that she is violating all age-old norms. Okay, and but when the lover appears and she responds to the lover, then we also forgive her. We don't say that, oh, what a faltu woman. We don't say. We forgive her because you see a lot of injustice is going on in her through her husband. Okay, so we also do not like this affair of Matangini. We appreciate, we accept it because she is treated very harshly by her husband. Okay, so you see that at that time, such old times, Bankim is risking the traditional reader's approval. Okay, because Matangini is cheating her husband, defying her husband. Okay, but before you can judge Matangini, she is condemning herself. She doesn't go much into that relationship. Okay, submits herself to mother and she admits the wrong that she has done. Okay, So her expression of an extramarital love here is rejection of traditional values. Traditionally, she is rejecting all those old values because she is into an extramarital relationship. But simultaneous submission to Madhav, okay, and whatever she talks to Madhav uh, shows that she considers Madhav as a godlike figure. Okay, she considers him to be of a higher value, and you can see that again she is in a identity turmoil. Okay, because men at that time were looked up as a godly figure. So does this lady Matangini, she also considers Madhav as godlike, and Madhav also accept that he is godlike. Okay, he is unflinching. So he also tries to enforce a kind of patriarchy upon her. Okay, so he actually, Madhav stands for 19th century, what Bengali called Bhadralok. Okay, means a gentleman. So, he remains very progressive. He tries to show that he's very liberal, but he is deeply patriarchal. When you scan his character, you find that he is also equally patriarchal in his nature. So again, Matangini is trapped in this kind of patriarchal relationship. Okay. But later you find that Matangini completely admonishes it. She finally conducts herself. She comes back to her real position when she joins the rebel, and she leaves only for the cause of rebel and to blow out those Maratha leaders. Okay. Now, after a lot of chaos in the novel, when Matangini is sometimes trying to, trying to save her, what do you call, self-respect, but finally, what happens? Uh, Monogamy prevails. Okay, and at the end, you see that. When you are attracted to somebody, then that kind of attraction is a kind of attachment. Okay, but the end of the story is very 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 complex, very confusing. We don't exactly know what happens at the end. Okay, we the novel ends in a very open ended manner. We don't know exactly what will happen when, if Matangini Madhav will come together. They will die unhappily, they won't be able to marry, or they'll be suffering solitude. We don't know at the end. So that is open ended. Okay, Bankim Chandra leaves it in a very psychological way. Okay, but the overall, the novel talks about the middle class morality. We always run after middle class people, run after what is morally correct. We try to defy our integrity. So this is all what you find in the novel. Okay. Now, here you see in the novel that uh, you know, Matangini gets involved with Madhav, but on the other hand, when her brother-in-law tries to abuse her, she completely condemns it. Okay, and here actually Bankim Chandra has tried to look at the problem
But
of.
ma'am, here, ma'am, as I have read that Matangni's sister Hemantangni is
Yes.
Madhav's wife. So she's cheating on her sister also.
Yes, so listen, if you go to the depths, you see a lot of complications. It is very complex. But we have to go through the main characters here. Okay, so those are very in-depth reading that you're talking. But overall, if you see, then Bankim Chandra is trying to look at the problem with marriage, isn't it? and typically with some conservative families, when husband is abusive, and what should a woman do at that time? Okay, so sometimes she has to be little bit manipulative. That is what is shown here. Okay, because she also needs the kind of survival technique. That's what I said. No, this is very psychological. So she's also trying to switch over to the mode of survival. Okay, that she needs to live in a family, to sustain in that kind of society. Okay, so you can see that more or less Bankim Chandra is trying to be a moral guide for the community. Okay, so when he is talking about traditional values, he's also talking about modernity. Okay, and also he's trying to say that human heart is not always very strong. There are certain weaknesses. Okay, so this is very progressive and very traditional also at the same time. All right. Now, I would ask you to read through in very detail about the whole novel. I have given my summary and my analysis. Okay. So next class we'll go over to the next unit, next block. Is that all right?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, should we leave for the day?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, I have some doubt.
Yes,
Please,
tell me.
excuse me.
Yes.
When I write a answer of this question, कि- हम याद कर सकते हैं कि पहले राइटर्स का जो इंट्रोडक्शन है वो देंगे क्या?
Yes, always a little bit. Okay. Little bit
फर्स्ट
at the middle also you can mix, just like I'm teaching you know that this is the writer and this is what he thinks, this is his idea, and how his idea is transformed in the form of a story, that you have to say.
जी मैम, देन आई गो टू द टॉपिक.
Yes, no, you can mix it also, as just like I was teaching you that this is
हाउ
Bankim
मेनी
Chandra,
पेजेस
this
वी
is,
शुड राइट?
yes,
How many pages we should write in this answer?
I think the the syllabus ask you certain word limit. So there you follow those syllabus and the word limit and write.
Ma'am, next class is tomorrow.
Yes, next class is tomorrow at 6.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am,
Yes.
how could we join all these classes?
Because they must have shared a link with you.
Okay.
They have shared a link. So you just tap in that link, you will get it.
Uh, for every class?
Yes, what?
For every classes?
Yes, you have to tap in that link and join.
Okay.
Okay. Now, thank you, students. I'm also leaving the class.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you all get the WhatsApp link?
Subhasri? Hello?
Did you all
Subhasri,
get,
Yes, ma'am.
did you all
Yes,
get the
ma'am.
WhatsApp link?
can I
Oh,
take your phone number, please?
yes, yes, you can.
I am Sandhya Rai. We have no group. So I wants to जो भी मेज इस मेज में है इनकी जो डिपार्टमेंट
Listen,
में
listen. If you are
एक
not comfortable with English, you can speak in Hindi.
ओके मैम. ओके, हम लोग एक ये कर सकते हैं कि ग्रुप कर सकते हैं अपने अपने खुद के.
ग्रुप के
बिल्कुल बना सकते हैं ना.
ग्रुप के लिंक मैंने व्हाट्सएप पे भेज दिए हैं, मतलब वो सॉरी व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप के लिए चैट पे है.
ओके.
कैसे देख
हाँ,
सकते हैं
वो
वो
मैंने
चैट?
ज्वाइन किया था एक ग्रुप, पर उसमें ऑनलाइन ऑनलाइन वाले मना कर रहे हैं ऐड करने के लिए. बोल रहे हैं कि
क्या?
हमारा ऑनलाइन प्रोग्राम है, हम ऐड नहीं कर सकते इसमें.
अच्छा सुनो ना, हम सब तो एक ग्रुप बनाकर ऐड हो सकते हैं ना?
हाँ, मैं ये ही बोलती हूँ, ऐसे करना चाहिए हम लोग को।
तो फिर कैसे नंबर आप चाहे?
जी मैम।
शुभश्री,
छवि
आप अपना नंबर बताओ, बाकी सब अपना नंबर बताएंगे, फिर आप में से कोई एक बना देना ग्रुप, ठीक है ना?
okay, okay. Can I say now?
श्योर लिसन, सब अपना अपना नंबर बताओ, मैसेज कर सकते हैं या फिर बोलना पड़ेगा नंबर अपना?
हाँ, मैं मैसेज कर सकती हूँ।
बोल देंगे, दीजिए ना। हेलो।
मैसेज कर दूँ?
ये लिंक अगर खत्म हो गया ना तो हम बना भी नहीं पाएंगे, ठीक है?
हाँ ठीक है, मेरा नंबर कर लो, जो भी ग्रुप कर लेगा मुझे ऐड कर लेगा उसमें।
हाँ।
हेलो, जो भी ग्रुप बनाएंगे ना वो मुझे ऐड कर देंगे,
I
ठीक है?
think just a minute. I think we should request Chhabi Jain madam to create a group and add all others because she has some prior experience with other groups also. So she can guide us.
आप लोग का
Chhabi,
कहाँ पर?
are you
The
there?
group has already made. The group has already made, and I have sent you the 4 groups
Uh,
link. You can join them all.
ma'am, is it MEG 5, MEG 10? Are you talking about that one?
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, I had sent a request to be approved. I have completed the registration process also.
No. I have made the personal group.
Are you asking about my ID? Sorry, ma'am.
No. I have sent. मैंने आपको एक पर्सनल ग्रुप भेजा है जिसमें सारे बच्चे हैं. मैंने वो लिंक्स भेजे हैं ऑलरेडी चैट में.
कहाँ पे भेजे
Is
हैं
it
मैम?
today? Please send it again. I could not find it.
हेलो।
हम्म, सुनो ना,
प्लीज
हम अपने अपने
हेलो।
हम अपना अपना नंबर शेयर किए हैं, आप लोग एक ग्रुप बना लो ना।
मेरा नंबर तो नोट कर लो प्लीज।
हाँ, शेयर करो।
7894।
मैसेज में लिख के भेजे है वो अपना नंबर,
ठीक है।
मैसेज कर लो ना।
I am adding you the link of WhatsApp group. You can join them.
हेलो छवि।
Yes, बोलो.
हेलो। एक और ग्रुप बना दो।
देखो मैं व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप नहीं बना रही हूँ. मेरे पास लिंक है व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पे ऑलरेडी 4. मैं आप लोगों को वो भेज देती हूँ.
हाँ, पर उसमें मैंने ऐड किया एक ग्रुप में। एक लड़की बोल रही थी कि ये ऑनलाइन ग्रुप है, हम ऐड नहीं, ऑनलाइन प्रोग्राम ग्रुप है, हम ऐड नहीं कर सके।
तो आप बताओ ही मत ना.
ओ अच्छा, उसमें ना,
आप बताओ मत. आप ये
उसमें
मैं ऑनलाइन मोड ही हूँ. सबके सब्जेक्ट सेम है, उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
अच्छा, माने उसमें तो सारे ऑनलाइन मोड के बच्चे ही ऐड हुए होंगे, है ना?
हाँ, इसीलिए।
अच्छा
एक्चुअली क्या है, वो एडमिट में भी पढ़ूंगा है. कोई बात नहीं. आप ये बोलो कि हम ऑनलाइन मोड के हैं. सब्जेक्ट सबके सेम है, एग्जाम सेम डे.
अच्छा,
अच्छा,
मुझे ऐसा कोई लिंक नहीं आया है। इस,
आगे सेंड किया है, अभी देखो।
अभी
Chhabi
अभी जो नंबर हमने
Jain
भेजा
madam, this
उसमें
is
की है
Jabardasti.
क्या?
You can check the text box of this meet. Ma'am, Chhabi Jain ma'am, I have a question. Is that the only group you just said, or is there any other group we need to join?
I am sending you 4 links. Wait.
Okay, we have just received one link so far.
Ma'am, could you explain please that on which group we can join, or every group we have to join?
If you want the all subject group, you can join this group which I am sending it right now. This is for all audial and online for both the students. The same is even MEG group. You can join it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Hmm. Mm-hmm. I have sent you 4 links.
हर दिन ये क्लास होता है क्या?
Yes.
मुझे तो कल लिंक आया, इसीलिए मैंने आज ज्वाइन किया।
हाँ, मुझे भी पहली बार ही ये लिंक मिला है, तो आज पहली बार क्लास किया हमने।
क्लासेस जनवरी 24 से हो रही हैं।
पर वो हमारे एमएजी से नहीं हो रहा था ना, तो ध्यान नहीं दिया इतना। एमएजी 5 शायद हो गया है, पर आज 10 पहली बार था।
MEG 9 तक सारी क्लासेस हो गई हैं।
अच्छा, 7-5 भी उसमें चला गया होगा।
यस यस।
उसमें
पर लिंक
कितने
नहीं
कितने
आए
क्लासेस हुए?
इसलिए,
क्या?
लिंक्स नहीं आए इसीलिए पता ही नहीं चला।
वही तो, पर एक नोटिफिकेशन आया था, उसमें सारे शेड्यूल बनाकर भेजा गया था, पर लिंक
हाँ,
नहीं मिला तो क्लास नहीं हो पाया।
हाँ, लिंक तो हमें कल आया था।
ठीक है।
Chavijan madam, we have joined two groups so far, and two are pending approval from the admin. So can we expect the admin us, or we will have to do anything else? Chavijan ma'am, are you there?
यस बोलो।
Ma'am, only two groups we are able to join, and rest two are pending approval from admin. So are you an admin there, or
नो नो
they will be approved by some other member?
नो नो, आई एम नॉट द एडमिन। और अगर एडमिन पूछे तो आप ये कहना ऑनलाइन मोड के स्टूडेंट हो, ऑडियल मत बोलना।
Okay, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
आप सबने अपना असाइनमेंट सेंड कर दिया है कॉलेज में?
कर दिया है।
कहाँ पर किया?
असाइनमेंट सबमिट हो गया। स्टडी सेंटर है। आप कौन सी डिस्ट्रिक्ट के है?
गंजाम। शुभश्री, आर यू फ्रॉम?
हम नयागढ़ स्टडी सेंटर है, नयागढ़
ओडिशा।
ओडिशा,
का
बट
नयागढ़।
व्हिच डिस्ट्रिक्ट?
सब ओडिया पिला सब ओडिया
सब जा ओडिया जे डिस्ट्रिक्ट अलग ना।
अरे सब लोग
सब ओडिया से पिला हाँ सेंटर अलगा
हम नयागढ़ डिस्ट्रिक्ट।
अच्छा सॉरी।
स्टडी सेंटर ना बरहमपुर। शुण
आज्ञा
बरहमपुर ऑटोनोमस कॉलेज नहीं कि खलिकोटर से नेलानी कोनटी असाइनमेंट नेलानी, तो हमको रीजनल सेंटर जाओ पड़ला।
हमर मिले तो
ओ हमर तो एक क्लास पूरी रे हे जीवो।
अच्छा अच्छा। कि
हाँ
खलिकोटर अच्छा
अपन माने
बरहमपुर।
असाइनमेंट केमती लिखिले
यूट्यूब रे
बढ़िया बढ़िया
क्वेश्चन
लिखले।
ते समस्त बाजी 5 6 नहीं 5 7 10 आउ 14
चौ
ना चारिटा छुट्टी
14 हाँ
आज्ञा
14
हाँ
हाँ
हाँ, 5
समस्त से
7
सब
10
लिख
एंड
रहे
14। हाँ,
हाँ।
आज्ञा
ଶୁଣ ଶୁଣ ତମର ଯୋଉ 5 7
assignment ସବୁ
10
ଆଚ୍ଛା
14
କେମିତି
ବୋଲି
ଆପଣ assignment
କହୁଛ
କେମିତି ଲେଖିଲେ?
ପେନରେ
ଫୋନ ରୁ
ଆପଣ ଯେତିକି କୋଉ ପେପରରେ ଲେଖୁଛନ୍ତି କି ସାଇଡ
ଫର୍ମାଟ ଆଉ କିଛି ବନେଇନୁ A4 ସାଇଜ ର ରୋଲିଂ ପେପର ରେ
ରୋଲିଂ ପ୍ଲେନ୍
ରୋଲିଂ ପେପର ମାନେ ଆମର ଯୋଉ ଲ୍ୟାବ ଯୋଉ ଲେଖନ୍ତି ଲ୍ୟାବ ପେପର ସେଇଟାରେ ହେଇଯିବ ଯୋଉ ନା ମିଳୁ କୋଉଟା ରୋଲିଂ ପେପର
କାଇଁ ନା ଏ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ଲେଖିନ କି?
ଜେରକ୍ସ ପେପର ଜାଣିଛ?
ନାଇଁ ଲେଖିନି ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ। ହଁ ଜେରକ୍ସ A4 ପେପର
ଆଉ ତ ସେଇ
ଶୁଣ
ଅଛି
ଶୁଣ
ପ୍ଲେନ୍
ଶୁଣ
ପେପର।
ଶୁଣ
ନାଇଁ ଆମର
A4 ର
ପ୍ଲେନ୍
ତମକୁ
ପେପରରେ
ଜେରକ୍ସ
ଲେଖିବନି କି?
ଖୋଜିବ ତାହେଲେ ତମକୁ ଶୁଣ ମୁଁ କହୁଛି ତମେ କ୍ଲାସମେଟ ର ଗୋଟେ ଖାତାରେ ନେଇଯାଅ 100 rupees ପ୍ଲସ୍ ଆସିବ ସେ ଖାତାର ପେଜ ଗୁଡାକୁ ଚିରିଚି ଆରାମସେ ଲେଖିପାରିବ ହେଲା।
ଆରେ ଚିରିବ କଣ ପାଇଁ? ଇଏ ତମେ ଜେରକ୍ସ ପରେ ବି ଲେଖିପାରିବ। ଚିରିଲେ
ନାଇଁ ଆମେ ପ୍ଲେନ୍
ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ
A4
ଖରାପ
ପେପରରେ
ହେଇଯିବ।
ଲେଖିପାରିବାନି କି?
ଲେଖିପାରିବ ବଟ
ହଁ
ରୋଲିଂ
ଲେଖିପାରିବ।
ପେପର ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି।
ମୁଁ ତ
ନାଇଁ
ଲେଖି ସାରିଲାଣି।
ରୋଲିଂ ପେପର ମ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡେଟୋରି।
ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଆମର ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଆଚ୍ଛା ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଆମର ଯୋଉ ଲ୍ୟାବ ଯୋଉ ପେପର ଆସେନି ରୋଲିଂ A4 ସାଇଜ ର ଲାଇନ ଥିବ ମାର୍ଜିନ ଥିବ ସେଇଟା ଲେଖି ହବ କି ନାଇଁ?
ହବ ବଟ ତାର ୱାନ୍ ସାଇଡେଡ ହ୍ୱାଇଟ ଥିବ ନୁହଁ କି?
ସାଇଡ ରୋଲିଂ ଥାଏ ବୋଥ ସାଇଡ ରୋଲିଂ ଥାଏ।
ନାଇଁ ୱାନ୍ ସାଇଡ୍
ତାହେଲେ
ଥାଏ
ଚଳିବ
ଲ୍ୟାବ୍ କଥା କହୁଛ ତ?
ଚଳିବ
ୱାନ୍
ଚଳିବ।
ସାଇଡ୍ ଥାଏ ରୋଇଂ ଆଉ ଅଦର ସାଇଡ୍
ଶୁଣ
ପ୍ଲେନ୍ ଥାଏ।
ଲ୍ୟାବ ପେପର ରେ ୱାନ୍ ସାଇଡ ହ୍ୱାଇଟ ଆଉ ୱାନ୍ ସାଇଡ ର
ହଁ
ରୋଲିଂ
ସେମିତି
ଅଛି
ଥାଏ।
ହେଲା କିନ୍ତୁ ତମେ ଯଦି କହୁଛ ଦି ପଟ ଯାକ ରୋଲିଂ ଅଛି ତାହେଲେ ବଢିଆ କଥା।
ନାଇଁ ଆମେ ଯୋଉ
ଠିକ
ଲେଖୁଛେ
ଅଛି
ଦୁଇ
ଆମକୁ
ପଟ ସାଇଡ୍ ଲେଖିପାରିବା ତ?
ହଁ ଦୁଇ
ନା
ପଟ ସାଇଡ
ଦୁଇ
ତମେ
ପଟ ସାଇଡ
ଲେଖିପାରିବ କିଛି ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ। ହଁ ଦୁଇ ପଟ ସାଇଡ ଲେଖିପାରିବ।
ପେଜରେ
ଆଚ୍ଛା
ମୁଁ ପଚାରୁଥିଲି ହଁ କ୍ଲାସମେଟ ର ନର୍ମାଲ ନୋଟ କିଛି ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ ମୁଁ ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ ସବମିଶନ କଲା ବେଳେ ପଚାରିଲି ସେ କହିଲେ ହଁ ବଢିଆ ଚଳିବ କିଛି ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ ବୋଲି କହିଲେ ତ ମୁଁ ଦେଇକି ଆସେ। ଷ୍ଟଡି ସେଣ୍ଟର ୟେସ୍ ହଁ ଷ୍ଟଡି ସେଣ୍ଟର ନେଲେନି ମୁଁ ଯାଇକି ଥରେ ଭିଜିଟ କରିକି ଆସିଲି ସେ ମନା କଲେ ତ ରେଜନାଲ ସେଣ୍ଟର ଯାଇ ଦେବାକୁ ପଡିଲା। ଆପଣ ମାନଙ୍କ ଭିତରୁ କିଏ ଅଛ କି
ଆଚ୍ଛା
ବ୍ରହ୍ମପୁର ଖଲିକୋଟ କଲେଜ ଭିତରୁ?
ଦେବଦର୍ଶୀ ଭାଇ ଆପଣ କୋଉଠି ଅଛନ୍ତି?
ଶୁଣ ଆପଣ ମାନଙ୍କ ଭିତରୁ କିଏ ଖଲିକୋଟ କଲେଜରୁ କିଏ ଅଛ କି
ମୋର ବି କଟକ
ବ୍ରହ୍ମପୁରର?
ଅଛି।
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ଖଲିକୋଟ
ହଁ ଅଛି
କିଏ
ମୋର।
ନାହାନ୍ତି ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ନୟାଗଡର ସେ ମ୍ୟାଡାମ
ହଁ ପୁରୀର ସେ ପୁରୀର କହିଲେ
ଆମର ଖୋଲା କଥା ହେଲେ
ଖୋର୍ଦ୍ଧା କହିଲା କି? ଆଚ୍ଛା
ତାହେଲେ
ମୁଁ
ଦେବଦର୍ଶୀ
ୱାନ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଓନ୍ଲି
ଆପଣଙ୍କର
ନାଇଁ ପୁରୀ
କଟକ ଅଛି ତ?
କଟକ ଅଛି ମୋର।
ତାହେଲେ ଦେଇନାହାନ୍ତି ଆପଣ?
ଆସ ମୁଁ ତମ ନମ୍ବର ନୋଟ
ଆପଣ
କରି ଦେଇଛି
ନମ୍ବର ଟିକେ
ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ ରେ
ଦେଇଥାନ୍ତୁ ମୋ ନମ୍ବର ଟା ଅଛି।
ଶୁଭଶ୍ରୀ ମତେ କହୁଛ
ଆପଣ
କି?
ଟିକେ ଆପଣ ନମ୍ବର ଟା ଦେଇଦିଅନ୍ତୁ
ହଁ
ମିସ୍ କଲ୍ ମାରିଦିଅ।
ମୁଁ କହିଲି
ମୁଁ
ମୁଁ ତମ ନମ୍ବର ନୋଟ କରିଦେଇଛି ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ ରେ ମେସେଜ କଲେ ଚଳିବ?
ଚଳିବ
ଆଚ୍ଛା ମୁଁ
ଶୁଣ
ନମ୍ବର ରିସିଭ୍
ଶୁଭଶ୍ରୀ
କରୁଛି।
ତମେ ମତେ ଫୋନ ବି କରିପାରିବ ହେଲା ଖାଲି ତମେ ଟିକେ କହିବ ମୁଁ
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା
ଇଏ କଣଟି ଇଗ୍ନୋର କରୁଛି ବୋଲି ଟିକେ କହିବ।
ହଁ ମୁଁ ମେସେଜ କରିବି।
ହଁ ଶୁଣ ଏ ଯୋଉ ଆଜି ଯିଏ ଲିଙ୍କ ଟା ପଠାନ୍ତି କି ତାଙ୍କୁ ବହୁତ ବହୁତ ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ।
ଛବି ହଁ।
ହୁଁ ତାଙ୍କୁ ବହୁତ ସାରା
ଆରେ
ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ
ସେ
ସେ ଆଜି ଲିଙ୍କ ଟା
ଫାଷ୍ଟ
ପଠେଇଛନ୍ତି।
ପଢିଲାନି
ଆପଣ ସବୁ
ଲିଙ୍କ
ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଥର ଜଏନ୍ କରୁଛନ୍ତି
ପଢିଲାନି
ନା ଆଗରୁ କେବେ କ୍ଲାସ କରିଥିଲେ?
ସେଇ କଥା
ନାଇଁ
ହଁ ମୁଁ ଆଜି ପ୍ରଥମ ଥର କ୍ଲାସ କରୁଛି ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଥର ହେଇଥିଲା
ହଁ ସେଇଟା
ଇଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଡାକ୍ସନ
ମୁଁ
ଗୋଟେ ଥର ହେଇଥିଲା
ଆଟେଣ୍ଡ
2
କରିପାରିନଥିଲି।
3 months ବିଫୋର ହେଇଥିଲା ସେଇଟା କେବଳ ଇଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଡକ୍ସନ ହେଇଥିଲା। ଆଚ୍ଛା
ଆଗରୁ ଯୋଉ କହିଲେ କେବଳ ବହିକି ଦେଇଥିଲେ ସେଇଟା ମୁଁ ଦେଖିଛି କିନ୍ତୁ
ନା
କ୍ଲାସ ଲିଙ୍କ
ଯୋଉ
ନଥିଲା
ସେଡ୍ୟୁଲ
ସେଠି।
କଥା କହୁନ କି ସେ ସେଡ୍ୟୁଲ ଟା ଏବେ ସେଟା ମେଲ କୁ ଆସିଥିଲା।
କରୁନାହାନ୍ତି
ଥିଲା କି?
ହଁ
ହଁ ଲିଙ୍କ ଅଛି କିନ୍ତୁ ସେଥିରେ
ହଁ କୁହନ୍ତୁ।
ଜଏନ୍ ପାରୁନଥିଲା।
आशुतोष सर
ଆଚ୍ଛା
ଆଜ୍ଞା କୁହନ୍ତୁ।
सर लास्ट नंबर जो क्या है 92
59 ଲାଷ୍ଟକୁ 9938659259।
ଶୁଣ
ୟା
ତମମାନଙ୍କ ଭିତରୁ କିଏ ଗୋଟେ ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ ଗ୍ରୁପ ବନେଇ
आज्ञा
ଦଉନ।
थैंक यू
ନାଇଁ ଆମେ କହିଲେ କିଛି ନାହିଁ।
ଆଉ ଆଶୁତୋଷ ଭାଇଙ୍କର ଆଉ ଦେବଦର୍ଶୀଙ୍କର ସେ ଝିଅ ନା
ମତେ
ଆଉ
ଆଡ
ଯୋଉ
କରିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ଗ୍ରୁପରେ
ଟିଚିଂ
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ।
ବୋଲି ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି ସେଇଟା କିଏ କି?
ସେଇଟା
ହେଲେ ଆମେ ପର୍ସନାଲି ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ରୁପ
ହଁ
କରିବା।
ହଁ ହଁ ତାଙ୍କର ଟିଚିଂ ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି ତ ଜଣା ପଡୁଛି।
ହଁ ଯୋଉ
କହିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ।
ଯୋଉ
ଆଶା
ଟିଚିଂ ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି ତମ
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ
ନାଁ କଣ?
ଅଲରେଡି ସବମିଟ କରିଛନ୍ତି ଯେହେତୁ।
ହଁ ମୁଁ
ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟା ରାୟ।
ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟା ରାୟ।
ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟା
7894
ପରିଷଦ ନମ୍ବର ଟା ଦେଲୁନି ତ।
ଆପଣ ଜୟବାଗ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ସେଥିପାଇଁ
ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟା ରାୟ।
ଆଡ୍ କରିଦେବେ।
ହଁ ହଁ 7894
ଆପଣ ତ ଅଲରେଡି ସେ ଯୋଉ ଛବି ମ୍ୟାମ ଦେଲେ ସେଥିରେ ଆଡ ହେଲେ ନା ଆଉଥରେ?
ହଁ ନାଇଁ ଆଡ୍ ହେଇଛି ବଟ୍ ଯଦି ଫ୍ୟୁଚର କରୁଛନ୍ତି
ସେଥିରେ ଶୁଣୁନାହାନ୍ତି ସେଥିରେ କଣ ନା ନା ସେଥିରେ କଣ କଣଟି ଆମର ଟିଏଲଏମ ଭିତରେ କଣ ପଢୁଛନ୍ତି ନା କଣ ପଢୁଛନ୍ତି? ମୋର ଗୋଟେ ବହୁତ ବଡ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଅଛି ଏବେ ଯୋଉ ବଙ୍କିମ ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର କଥା କହିଲେନି ସେ ଟୋଟାଲି ମୁଁ ସେ ସିଲେବସ ରେ
ହଁ
ଖୋଜିଲି ବହୁତ ସମୟ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ମତେ କିଛି ମିଳିଲାନି। ସିଏ
ମୁଁ
ବଢିଆ
ମୁଁ ଲାଷ୍ଟ
ସେ
ଏକ୍ସପ୍ଲେନ
ଯୋଉ ନବୀନା
କରୁଛନ୍ତି
କହୁଛନ୍ତି
କିନ୍ତୁ
ସେଇ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ କରିଥାନ୍ତି
ହଁ ଶୁଭଶ୍ରୀ ଶୁଣ
ଲାଷ୍ଟ
ତମେ
ସେଇ
ପଢିଛ ବୋଲି
କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍
କହିଲ ତମେ
ପଠେଇଛନ୍ତି
କହିଲ
ସେଇଥିରୁ।
ପଢିଛ ବୋଲି
ନା ନା ମୁଁ ପଢିଛି କହିନି ମୁଁ କହିଲି ସେଇ
ମୁଁ
କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍
ଭାବୁଛି
କରିଥାନ୍ତି ଯେ ମୁଁ ଷ୍ଟଡି ମେଟେରିଆଲ ରେ ପାଇଲିନି ସେ ସବୁ କିଛି।
କ୍ୟାରେକ୍ଟର
ଶୁଣ
ଅଛି
ତମେ
ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଅଛି
ପଚାରିଲ ସେ ଯୋଉ
ହେଲେ କୋଉ ଅଛି କହିକି ସେ ଯୋଉ ଆଜି ଡିସ୍କସନ ରେ
ପେଜ ନମ୍ବର
କେତେ କହିବେ ଟିକେ
ଭଲ୍ୟୁମ 1
ପେଜ ନମ୍ବର
ଭଲ୍ୟୁମ ଭଲ୍ୟୁମ ୱାନ୍
ଶୁଣ
5
ଶୁଣ
ରୁ।
ଶୁଣ ଭଲ୍ୟୁମ 1 ଅଫ କୋର୍ସ ସେଇଟା ଅଛି 10 mb ର ବଟ୍ ପେଜ ନମ୍ବର କହିଲ?
ପେଜ ନମ୍ବର 5 ରୁ 5 ରୁ।
ଫାଇଭ
ଆଉଥରେ
ନ ନ ନ 5 ରୁ କେବେ ହେଇ
ଆଉଥରେ
ନଥିବ 19 ପେଜ ରୁ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ ହବ ବୋଧେ ବୋଲି ମୋର ଜଣା ନାହିଁ ଦେଖ 17 ପେଜ ରୁ ରାଜା ରାମମୋହନ ରୟ ର ଅଛି ହେଲା ବଟ୍ ସେ ଭିତରେ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଗୁଡାଏ ଜିନିଷ ଅଛି କିନ୍ତୁ ମତେ ବଙ୍କିମ ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ମିଳିଲାନି ବନ୍ଦେ। ସୁସ୍ମିତା କିଏ ଗୋଟେ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଲେଫ୍ଟ ହେଇଗଲେ କିଏ ସେଟା?
ସେ କିଏ ଗୋଟେ କୁହନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ଏକ୍ସପିରିଏନ୍ସ ଯାହା କହୁଛନ୍ତି we will learn from your experience।
ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ନା ଆମକୁ ଏ ଭିତରେ ଯୋଉ ଯେତିକି ସିଲାବସ ଅଛି ମୁଁ ଆମେ ଯୋଉ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଯାହା ଲେଖିଲେ ଶୁଭଶ୍ରୀ ଶୁଣିପାରୁଛ?
ହଁ ହଁ
ଆମେ ଯୋଉ ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ ଗୁଡା ଲେଖିଲେ ସେ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଗୁଡାକ ମୁଁ ବହୁତ ଟାଇମ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ଖୋଜିଛି ହେଲା ସେ ଆମକୁ ଟିଏଲଏମ ମିଳିଛି ଯୋଉ ଟିଚିଂ ଲର୍ଣ୍ଣିଂ ମିଳିନି ବୁକ୍ ଗୁଡାକ ସେ ବୁକ୍ ରେ ବହୁତ ଥର
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଘାଣ୍ଟିଛି ମତେ ଏତେ ବି ଜିନିଷ ଆମକୁ ସେ ଟପିକ ମିଳେ କିନ୍ତୁ ସେ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଏଲାବୋରେସନ ମିଳିନଥିବ ହେଲା ଏ ଯୋଉ ମ୍ୟାମ ହେଲେ ପଢେଇଲେ ମୁଁ ଖୋଜିବାକୁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କଲି କିନ୍ତୁ ମତେ ମିଳିଲାନି ମାନେ ଏଗୁଡା ଆସୁଛି କୋଉଠୁ ତାହେଲେ ଆମକୁ ଏ ଏଲିମେଣ୍ଟ ଯୋଉ ଆମକୁ ବୁକ୍ ଯାକ
ମ୍ୟାମ୍
ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି
ଏଇଟା
କଣ
ମାନେ
ପାଇଁ?
କେମିତି ବୁକଟାରେ
କୁହ କୁହ
ଏଇଟା କାଲି
କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଗୋଟେ ଡାଇରେକ୍ଟ ଆସୁନି
ଅବଶ୍ୟ
ଏତେ ଆମର
କଣ
କଣ ଏଇଟା ମାନେ ଡିପର ଅଣ୍ଡରଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଡିଂ ଅଫ ଦ ଟେକ୍ସଟ ଭଳିଆ।
ହଁ ଯେ କିଛି ତ ୱାର୍ଡ ମ୍ୟାଥ ଭଳିଆ ମିଳିବାର ଅଛି ନା ନହେଲେ ଆମେ ସେ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଟାକୁ କେମିତି ଆନାଲାଇଜ କରିବା?
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ଇଏ ଯୋଉ ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ଯୋଉ ଓଭରଅଲ କହିଲେ ନା ସେଟା ପ୍ରଫେସର ଲେବୁଲରେ
ହଁ
ଯୋଉ ଯୋଉ ଥିମ୍ ନଉଛନ୍ତି ଏଠିରେ ଯେକୌଣସି ଗୋଟେ ଥିମ୍ ବି ନିଅନ୍ତୁ ସେଥିରେ ଗୋଟେ ସପ୍ଲଟ୍ସ ଏଇ ଟାଇମ ର ଥିବ ଓଡିଆରେ ନିଅନ୍ତୁ ଇଂଲିଶରେ ନିଅନ୍ତୁ ତ ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ତାଙ୍କର
ଶୁଣ ଶୁଣ ଶୁଣ
ଏକ୍ସପିରିଏନ୍ସ
କିଛି
ତାଙ୍କର
ଥିମ୍ ନେବେ
ଭ୍ୟୁଜ
କିନ୍ତୁ
ଟାକୁ କହୁଛନ୍ତି।
ସେଇଟା ତ ଆମ ବୁକ୍ ରେ ରହିବା ଦରକାର ନା ଅବଶ୍ୟ ତାଙ୍କ ଲାଙ୍ଗୁଏଜ ରେ ଆମକୁ ବୁଝେଇଲେ ବହୁତ ବଢିଆ ଲାଗିଲା ତାଙ୍କ ଏକ୍ସପ୍ଲାନେସନ ଆମକୁ ଭଲ ଲାଗିଲା ବଟ୍ ସେଇଟା ତ ବୁକ୍ ରେ ମେନସନ ଥିବା ଦରକାର ନା ଆମେ ବାଦ ଯେତେବେଳେ ପଢିଆ କେମିତି ପଢିଆ ତାଙ୍କେ ଯୋଉ କହିଲେ ମୁଁ ସର୍ଟ ନୋଟ କିଛି କିଛି ବନେଇଛି ହେଲା
ସେଇଟା ସେତିକି ଡେପ୍ଥ ରେ କଭର ହେଇନି ସେଇଟା ବୁକ୍ ସେଟା କେବଳ ଅପଡେଟ ହଉନି ମାନେ କେତେ
ନା ଓରା
ପୂର୍ବ ମନେକର ସେଇ ମେଡାଲ ହେଇଥିବ ଆପଣ ପୁରୁଣା ମେଡାଲ
କେଜାଣି କେମିତି କରୁଛନ୍ତି କିନ୍ତୁ ୟାର ହାର୍ଡ ଗୁଡାକ
ଡେଲି
ଏତେ
କ୍ଲାସ କଲେ
ପ୍ରଫେସର କହିଲେ
ହଁ
4 ମାସ
ନିଶ୍ଚୟ
କହିବେ
ନିଶ୍ଚୟ ତାଙ୍କ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ତ ଆମେ କ୍ଲାସ ଜଏନ କରୁଛନ୍ତି।
ଯେମିତି ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ହିଷ୍ଟୋରିକାଲ କହିଲେ ସେଇ ଜାଗାରେ ଆପଣ ଆସିବ ଯାହା ଆପଣ ମାନେ ଯୋଉ ଲିଟରାଲି ମୁଭମେଣ୍ଟ ଚାଲିଛି ତାକୁ ଏଇଟା ଭଲ ଲାଗିଲା ମତେ ବି ଭଲ
ହଁ
ଲାଗିଲା
ହଁ
ଯେତିକି
ସେ
ସମୟ
ବ୍ୟାକ୍
ଜଏନ
କ୍ଲାସ
ଲେଟ
ର
ଜଏନ କରିବ କିନ୍ତୁ ବହୁତ ଭଲ ଲାଗେ
ବଢିଆ ଲାଗିଲା ଶୁଣ ତାପରେ
ବହୁତ ବଢିଆ ଲାଗୁଛି
ସେଇଟା ଆମେ
ମାନେ ଏମିତି ଲାଗୁଛି କି
ପଛରେ
ଆଗରୁ
ଯେତେବେଳେ ରିକଲ
କାହିଁକି
କରିବା
ଜଏନ କଲେନି ଆଗ କ୍ଲାସ
ପଛରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ରିକଲ କରିବା ନା ଆମେ ମନେ ଏକା ନଥିବ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ମୁଁ ଚାହୁଁଛି ସେଇଟା ଆମେ ଯଦି ବହିରେ ପାଇଯିବା ନା ପଛରେ ଆମର ସବୁ ଯାକ ରିମାଇଣ୍ଡ ହେଇଯାନ୍ତା ଆଉ ସେମିତି କିଛି ହଉନି ମିଳୁନି
ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ବହିରେ ମିଳିବନି ସେଥିପାଇଁ ପ୍ରଫେସରଙ୍କ ଦବା ଗୋଟେ କଥା
ତାଙ୍କେ ତ ଗୋଟେ ଦିନ ଗୋଟେ କ୍ଲାସ କରିଦେଲେ ସରିଲା।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଏଇ ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ପଢଉଛନ୍ତି କୋଉଠିକା ଷ୍ଟଡି ସେଣ୍ଟର ଆମ ନା ଆଉ ସେଣ୍ଟ୍ରାଲ
ନା ସେଣ୍ଟ୍ରାଲ ତ ହେଇନଥିବ ଯଦି ସେଣ୍ଟ୍ରାଲ
ଯୋଉ
ହେଇଥିବ
ମ୍ୟାମ ପଢଉଛନ୍ତି ସେ କୋଉଠି ଷ୍ଟଡି ସେଣ୍ଟର
ଯଦି କାଲି କ୍ଲାସ
କହିପାରିବିନି
କରିବେ ପଚାରିବ।
ପଚାରିବା ଯେ ଶୁଣ ଶୁଣ ଶୁଭଶ୍ରୀ ତମ ପାଖରେ ନଥିଲା ତମେ ଯୋଉ ପଚାରିଲ ତମେ କୋଉଠୁ ଶୁଣିଥିଲ ନା ଏମିତି ଆକା
କଣ ପଚାରିଲେ?
ଏ ଯୋଉ କହନ୍ତି
ନା
ଆମର
ସେ ନୋବେଲ ପଢିଛେ।
ନୋବେଲ ପଢିଥିଲ କି?
ନା ନା ମୁଁ ପଢିନି। ମୁଁ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ପଚାରିଥାନ୍ତି ଯେ ମୁଁ ଷ୍ଟଡି ମେଟେରିଆଲ ପାଉନି। ମୁଁ ଏଇଟା
ନାଇଁ ଶୁଣ
ପଚାରିଥିଲି ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ମାଳି କରିଥିଲି।
ମାତାଙ୍ଗିନୀଙ୍କର
ନା
ସିଷ୍ଟର କିଏ ଅଛି ତାଙ୍କ
ମୁଁ
ହଜବେଣ୍ଡ ଯୋଉ ମାଧବ
ସେଇଟା ଆଉ ଜଣେ କିଏ ପଚାରେ। ମୁଁ ନୂଆ ଶୁଣୁଛି। ମୁଁ ସେଇ ତମର ଯାହା ଡାଉଟ ମୋର ଯାହା ଡାଉଟ। ହଁ।
ସତରେ କି
ତାହେଲେ
ମୁଁ
କିଏ
ତମେ
କିଏ
ପଚାରିଲ ବୋଲି
ତାହେଲେ
ଭାବିକି ଏକ୍ସାଇଟ
ପଢିଛନ୍ତି
ହେଇକି ତମକୁ
ହଁ
କୋଉଥିରେ?
ମୁଁ
ପଚାରୁଛି।
ଭାବିଲି ତମେ
ଯାହାକି
ଜାଣିଛ।
ପଚାରିଲେ
ନାଇଁ ମୁଁ ପଢିଛି।
ହଁ ସେ ନିଶ୍ଚୟ ଭାବରେ ସେ ଡେପ୍ଥରେ ପଢିଛନ୍ତି ସେଥିପାଇଁ ସେ ପଚାରି ପାରିଲେ। ଆଉ ଏମିତି ଉପରୁ ଉପରୁ ଦେଖି ଦେଖି କଣ କିଏ ପଚାରିଦେବ?
ନା
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା
ମୁଁ
ଠିକ
ତ
ଅଛି ତାହେଲେ।
ବୁଝିଲି ଦିଟା ବହି ପୁଣି ଏତେ ଲେଖା।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଶୁଭଶ୍ରୀ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଆପଣଙ୍କର କୋଉ ଷ୍ଟଡି ସେଣ୍ଟର?
କଣ କହିଲ?
ଆଚ୍ଛା
ପୁରୀ ତମର?
ପୁରୀ ଏସସିଏସ୍।
କୋଉଠି ଜଗନ୍ନାଥ ମନ୍ଦିର? ଏମିତି ଆଉ 10 ପରେ
ଆଚ୍ଛା ତାହେଲେ ମୁଁ ଗ୍ରୁପ କରିଦେବି ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ ରେ ଆଡ କରିଦେବି ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ।
ଆପଣ ଗ୍ରୁପ ବନେଇଦେଲେ ସୁଭଶ୍ରୀ ମ୍ୟାଡାମ? ହଁ ସୁଭଶ୍ରୀ ମ୍ୟାଡାମ କାଇଣ୍ଡଲି ଗ୍ରୁପ ବନେଇ ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ, ଆଡ କରିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ। ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆଜ୍ଞା
ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟା ତମ
ସିଓର
ନମ୍ବର ଟା ପୁରା କହିଲନି।
ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ।
7894 ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟା ଗାଇଲେ।
6474 ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
ହଁ
7894
637484।
ଶୁଣ ଶୁଣ ତମ ଭଏସ ଟା ନା ଅପଡାଉନ ହଉଛି ଆଉ ଥରେ ଭଲରେ ଡାକ।
7894
ଆରେ ତୁ
ଆଉ ଶୁଣ କହୁଛି
ଆଉ ଥରେ
7694
ଠିକ ରେ ଡାକିବ।
647484।
78
ହୁଁ
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା ସରି ସରି।
7
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
ହଁ ହଁ
7894
647484।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା ଠିକ ଅଛି।
647484 ଦେଖ ମୁଁ ଡାକି ଦଉଛି 7894647484 କେତେ ପରେ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଚଲ
କାଇଣ୍ଡଲି ମତେ ଟିକେ ଆଡ
ଆଉ
କରିଦେବେ
ଆଉ
ଗ୍ରୁପ
ଥରେ
ରେ।
କାଲି
କାଲି ତ କ୍ଲାସ ଅଛି ଜଏନ କରିବା ସମସ୍ତେ।
ହଉ ଠିକ ଅଛି।
ଏଥର ଆପଣ
ହଁ
ୟୁଜିସି ନେଟ ଭିତରୁ ନେଟ ଦଉଛନ୍ତି?
ନା
ତ
ନା ଦେଇନୁ ତ
ନୂଆ ଆଡମିସନ
ସରିଲେ
ଦେଇହବ କି?
କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁ ହବ କି?
କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁରେ ଦେଇ ହବ କି?
ହଁ ହଁ ଆପଣ ଆପଣ ଦେଇପାରିବେ ପ୍ରୋଭାଇଡ ଆପଣ 2 ଇୟର ଭିତରେ ଫାଇନାଲ ଏକ୍ସାମ ପାସ୍ କରିବା କଥା। ଠିକ ଅଛି।
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଏଇଟା ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଇୟର।
ସେଟା କଣ?
ହଁ ଆପଣ ଏବେ ଆଡମିସନ କରିବେ କ୍ଲିୟର କରିଦେଲେ ସେ ସାର୍ଟିଫିକେଟ
ହଁ
ଆପଣ ତାର 2 ଇୟର ଭିତରେ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ପାସ୍ କରିବା କଥା ମାଷ୍ଟର ଡିଗ୍ରୀ ପୋଷ୍ଟ ଗ୍ରାଜୁଏସନ ଡିଗ୍ରୀ ଦେନ୍ ଭ୍ୟାଲିଡ ହେଇଯିବ।
ଠିକ ଅଛି
ଠିକ
ସେଟା
ଅଛି
ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ।
କଣ ଯୋଉ ନେଟ ବୋଲି କହୁ ସେଟା କଣ?
So how many attempts we can take?
ନା
ଓଡିଆରେ କହୁନ
ଆଚ୍ଛା
ଆଁ
ହଁ
ଆଚ୍ଛା
ଆଚ୍ଛା
ଆଉ ତ ସବୁ ତେଣୁ ଆପଣ ଯଦି ଭିତରେ ହେବା କଥା ଡିଗ୍ରୀ କମ୍ପ୍ଲିସନ 2 ବର୍ଷ TCS କରୁଛି ଅନଲାଇନରେ
ଦେଖିଛ
ୟୁଜି
ହୁଁ ହୁଁ।
ଯୋଉ ନ୍ୟାସନାଲ ଟେଷ୍ଟିଂ ଏଜେନ୍ସି କରି ପରୀକ୍ଷା
UGC net
ହଁ
ନା
ୟୁଜି ନେଟ୍ ମାଧ୍ୟମରୁ ଆସିଯିବ ଦେଖି
କୋଉ ଟାଇପ
ତା ଖରି ଭିତରେ ବାହାରିବ
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ
ଦେବଦତ୍ତ ଭାଇ
ହଁ କୁହନ୍ତୁ
କୋଉ ଟାଇପ ର କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଆସୁଛି?
ଆପଣ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଆସେ ଆପଣ ପ୍ରିଭିୟସ୍ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ସେଇଠୁ ଡାଉନଲୋଡ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
କରିଦେବେ ମିଳିଯିବ ଏନଟି ସାଇଟ୍ ରେ ଅଛି ସବୁ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ମାନେ
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆଜ୍ଞା
ବହୁତ
ହେଲେ ତାର ଏବେ ଆସିଲାଣି
ଚେଷ୍ଟା
ତାର
କରନ୍ତୁ ଆସିବ ଏପ୍ରିଲ ମାସରେ ଆସିବ ଏଇଟା ଜାଣିଦେଇଛ ନାଇଁ
ଓକେ ହେଲେ ଆମେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ କଣ କରିବା ଟଚରେ ରହିବା ହେଲେ ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ରୁପ କରିବା ଆମେ ଅଛି ଠିକ ହବ
ଗ୍ରୁପରେ
ନେଟ୍
କରିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ
ଆସିଲା
ପଢନ୍ତୁ ବହୁତ ଭଲ ଲାଗେ
ଆରେ ମୁଁ କରୁଥିଲି
ଭଲ ହବ ଯାହା କିଛି ଇନଫର୍ମେସନ ମିଳିବ ପ୍ଲସ୍
ହଁ ସୁଶ୍ରୀ ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ଟିକେ ସମୟ ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ତ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ
ଓକେ ସର୍
ଓକେ
ନିଶ୍ଚୟ ଆଉ
ହଁ
କ୍ଲାସ୍
କାଲି କ୍ଲାସ୍ ଅଛି
6
କାଲି
PM ତ
6 କାଲି ପୁଣି
ହେଲେ କାଲି
ଅପଡେଟ୍
ଲିଙ୍କ ଟା
କରିବେ
କଣ
ଆଉ
ପାଇବା
ଆରେ ସେଇ ଲିଙ୍କଟା ସେଇ ସେମ୍ ଲିଙ୍କ
ସେମ୍
ଏଇ ଲିଙ୍କ ଆସିଛି
ଆଜି ଯୋଉଟା ଜଏନ୍ ହେଲା ସେଇ ସେମ୍
ଓକେ
ଠିକ ଅଛି ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ
ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ
ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ ସର୍ ଶୁଭରାତ୍ରି
ହଁ